wrong day, wrong time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Is there anyone here for the 2-minute open forum? Anyone here for 2-minute open forum? Anyone here for 2-minute open forum? Review and approve council agenda.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. Regular agenda, approve plans and specs and authorize going out for bids for phase 1 and amphitheater project. John, you got that one?
Got this one. So I think as the council is aware, we've discussed at a staff level having kind of a fall bidding package that includes rough grading and the utility work on this project, just to kind of set the stage for what's anticipated to be, I think, roughly a January bidding for the kind of the amphitheater itself. So we have the plans prepared. We're working with staff on some kind of last minute tweaks as we prepare this, but we're ready to advertise this project. The fall bidding, again, the rough grading and the utility work, the sanitary sewer and the water main and the storm sewer going to the various locations. And the rough grading, probably, get the site plus or minus a foot in general. It does include that substantial amount of fill to be hauled into the site from the amphitheater. A couple of things we're going to do on this project. We're going to bid a couple of alternates, but the large spoil piles of granite out there, we're going to include in the project as an alternate so that we can either do it with this project, we'll have bid numbers to do it, or we'll continue to explore other options at a staff level. So that'll be one alternate. Another alternate would be related to some of the fill brought into the site. We'll include it in the base bid of this project, but have an alternate that potentially allows for some other material sourced to the project. The estimate that we're looking at for, again, this is just the rough grade and the utility work. It's about $1,817,000 total. That includes a 10% contingency. Doesn't include the soft costs, the engineering, the architecture, et cetera. Of that $1.8 million, about $315,000 is the alternate for removing those granite spoil piles. So the base bid is roughly $1.5 million with approximately $315,000 estimated to remove those the two large spoil piles.
And what that essentially does is just allows us to continue negotiations with individuals that we've discussed doing that with before, but it also allows us to get a quote on that too. Having some conversations with some of the local contractors on the that are excavators in the area, that was something that they had recommended that we include in that, just to see on the pricing of that. So that was the reasoning for including that in there. But it still could allow us to go down the other alternative routes that we are, and that's the same thing with the fill as well. We have some preliminary discussions that we've had with some individuals in the community on that, businesses, and so we'll continue to pursue those, but providing the alternates will give us that opportunity just to leverage that.
I'm assuming that you're working this along with phase 2, which would include the filling and the proper amount to fill and compaction that needs to be done along with this project. I'm understanding that the other plans aren't ready yet, so phase 1 is just basically putting in the pipe work and things like that.
The pipe work and the grading, and it does include that
fill.
what's going to end up being an engineered fill for the amphitheater itself. I think it's about 40,000 yards of material is our rough estimate. That's one of the last things we're kind of massaging and getting that honed in on, but we're estimating about 40,000 yards of material to be hauled to the site. This will be a standalone project bid. Ortel Architects is actually taking the lead on this bidding project. And as a part of what they're working on, we're going to give them our plans and specs. They've engaged a geotechnical engineer who's going to be looking at that engineered fill. Really, my plans just quantify it. They've hired a geotechnical engineer that's going to put together a design of the exact material that's needed, how to build it, how to compact it so that it's gonna be there to stay. So that's kind of again, Ortel's taking the lead and they're working with the geotech as a third party to ensure that's done properly.
So you feel it would be cheaper to bid it this way than bid it as one package and get it done as one?
Yes. That was based off of conversations that we've had with, actually, this came from Jeff Ryder as a way to do this, and that was based off conversations that he has had with local excavating contractors who, which is different than those in the construction industry, that some of the excavators are looking for work in the fall. And so that's a favorable time for them to do the bidding on this. And it's much better to be able to have that work completed now and bidded now than it is to wait until January when there's a foot of snow on it, because excavators can't see what they're working with. So the recommendation is based off of it's actually his recommendation to move forward this way.
All right, anybody else got anything? John, you got anything else? No? Somebody want to move to approve the,
Before we do that, I have a couple questions I'd like to ask. I was reading the newspaper article, and what threw me off was they were talking about a $14.3 million amphitheater project, and I'd like to know what goes into that 14.3. We've been talking about $12 million project at max, all the way through. Now we're at 14.3. I'm assuming there's some other figures.
I think the other pieces that they may have been including on their numbers are some of the costs that we've already attributed to the project with the streets and utilities, that work has gone into that. So they're basing it off of those things.
But that
So the
was
numbers has
included
not changed.
$12 million, I
No.
believe, when we talked about it.
No.
As
Those-
part of the utilities that were already in place and the roads and things. The total would add up to the total of 12 as part of our contribution.
we
A
hope
total
to get-
project-
We hope to get that lower
Yeah.
than that.
So-
That's,
I wouldn't get caught up on that number
Don't
at all.
disagree that it was at one
It's based
time
off
part
of
of
our
it, but-
application that we submitted, probably is what we submitted originally to that. And so when you start to look at the land, that was, we paid for a
Value.
portion of that land, so you attribute the land values to those properties. You attribute portions of the road, and you attribute some of that utility work. Those are things that we had above and beyond, and I don't have that number in front of me, but I would estimate that number is probably over that $2 million mark, which is where that is. But our amphitheater project right now for a cost estimate is around 10 million, between 10 and 11. But,
Wouldn't
depending
get-
on how these things come in, that can change.
I wouldn't get too tied up on what it says in the newspaper.
Exactly my point.
Yeah.
I still wanted to have it clarified.
Yeah. Yeah.
We still have a budget no matter what the paper says or what anything else says.
So to answer Vic's question, a true figure would be somewhere between 10 and 11 million at this point in time.
For the actual construction of where we're at right now, based off of the estimates that we've seen. But like I said, that can change.
Right, we know that, yeah.
I mean, to that point, that question's better answered by Ortel Architects.
It is.
As I present this,
Exactly,
I only know
exactly.
my piece of it,
Yeah.
which is what the estimate I gave you tonight. Anything beyond my 1.8, I
Yeah.
honestly don't.
That
know
is
where we're
their,
sitting.
that is based off of theirs. It's just under 11 million.
So work in progress, and we hope to keep it going down instead of up.
Right.
Yep.
Anything else?
And take steps to reduce them costs, and this is one of them. I'll move
We
to
hope.
approve.
Second?
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed unanimously. Thank you, John. Is there any other business? Terry? Bill?
Nope.
Carla?
I just got a quick question, maybe, are we gonna be meeting on this phase 2 then, as we get going here a little bit? So that we're all on board when it comes up?
When we are at a,
Who I'm imagining is gonna be the finishing touches and all.
The design, actually.
when
finished
that stuff,
design.
yeah, right now, we've got Jeff Ryder reviewing those things to look at ways for cost savings is where we're at right now. And so none of that stuff's gonna get, completely finalized, but that'll get finalized this fall so that we're in a position to go out for bid. But yes, we can bring that back to the council so that you have an opportunity to see how that's laid out and designed, yes.
We hope to take that off for bids,
Yeah.
January or so, so I would think sometime in
Yeah.
December we would have that to look at.
Yep.
Anything else? We are adjourned at 4:40.